continue in Perek Zayin, page Ayin Vav. So up until this point in time, we've been speaking about pre-actional zrizus. Now in Meretz Hashem, we're going to focus a little bit on zrizus, or we'll call actional zrizus. So what does it mean to have zrizus after you've begun an action? Very important. After you've begun something, you are very quick to finish it. So this is actional zrizus. Actional zrizus says once you've started something, make sure to quickly finish it. So he goes on, now what does that mean to quickly finish it? It doesn't mean because you're looking to remove a burden from yourself. So remember again, so sometimes when people hurry to do something, it's because they just want to get it over with, right? Just get it over with already. So let's just, that's not what we're referring to over here. What we're referring to over here is that once you've started something, make sure to finish it as quickly as possible. Why? Because as we spoke about earlier, there's no shortage of things in life, of obstacles, of hurdles that come up in every single moment. And so if I don't finish what I started right now, who's to say that something is not going to come up later on? And when I say later on, in a moment from now, that's going to go ahead and prevent me from fulfilling the task I set out to do. Therefore, actional zrizus says, when you start something, finish it up as quickly as possible so as to minimize the risk of something coming up and derailing your initiative. This is what Chazal taught us when they said, it was actually a very dramatically strong statement. Whoever begins a mitzvah and does not finish it, kover ishta ubanav, will bury his wife and his children. So first of all, whenever you see a lashon like that, such a strong lashon, I begin something and I don't finish it, person's going to bury his wife and his children. So if you're learning out of the edition that we have, you can see there's a footnote there, footnote 17, kover ishta ubanav. So he writes, onesh shel mida kineged mida, l'mi she'eno mashlim hamitzvah, Basher ishto ubanav hima mashlimin es hametzius ba'olam. Ishto bahova behiyoso biladea me'in palag gufa ubanav. So it's actually quite a beautiful explanation he has. He says that a wife and children are mashlim, complete a husband. A wife completes her husband in this world, meaning in the present. Without his wife, a man is only half a person, and his children complete him even after his death, right? Rav Shamshon Hirsch brings down this idea. He explains that one of the primary motivations why we have children is because of a deeper quest for immortality. I want to live forever. It's really what everybody wants. I want to live forever. I can't live forever. What's the closest shot I have to living forever? My children, right? My children give me a little bit of immortality, because my children in Meretz Hashem, when I'm no longer here, ultimately, again, they will hopefully, Meretz Hashem, they will still be here. So therefore, again, the way he explains this medrash is, a person who doesn't complete the things he started in life is kover ishta ubanav, right? Meaning, if you're not mashlim yourself, if you don't finish things up, so you will lose out on those other things which complete you as well. So again, I don't believe that Chazal mean a statement like this literally. I think they're using dramatic lashon to make a point. Don't be that kind of person who starts stuff and doesn't finish it. I was recently learning with a bar mitzvah boy about this concept, and I gave him the mashal. Like a lot of times, little kids, right? They get a toy, exciting for the first 15 minutes, and then what happens? They lose interest in it. Just the way that it works. And what usually happens in a lot of homes, there's like a closet, right, that has all of this stuff, the stuff that the kid needed to have. Mamish, the kid needed to have, got it, played with it for 22 minutes, and then it's in the closet. Adults have that closet also, right? Except instead of toys, it's life initiatives, right? It's all of the stuff that I started. And this was the exciting new project Smell. I started it here, and this was this initiative, and this was a Rosh Hashanah resolution, this was a New Year's resolution, right? Right? This one was this was this one, and again, a whole bunch of stuff, all bunch of initiatives. And then what happens? I lose interest, or just stuff gets in the way. So it's not. I'm not failing. Meaning, I'm not like Chas V'Shalom giving up hope. I'm just shelving it for now. But then, of course, shelves could only support so much weight. So the stuff gets moved off the shelves and it gets put into a closet. All of us have that closet, and that's the closet you never open. Don't ever open that closet, because what happens if you open that closet? Right, all of the accumulation of half-started life initiatives will pour out. So the Ramchal says, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. If you start something, finish it up. If you finish it up, then ultimately, again, nothing needs to get shoved into the closet. Va'amru, eina mitzvah nikreis el Hashem gomra. That's why the Gemara says, the mitzvah, who gets credit for the mitzvah? Well, it's actually a very dramatic Gemara. Who gets credit for a mitzvah? This is last week's parasha. Kol mitzvah, the one who finishes it. The one who finishes it. And Rabbi, remember again, Rashi's example for that concept was Moshe Rabbeinu, Atzmos Yosef. Who's given credit for burying Yosef in Eretz Yisrael? It's Yoshua and Klal Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu was the one. Everyone else was busy getting the spoils of Egypt, right? Everyone else was busy accumulating the wealth, and it was Moshe Rabbeinu who went ahead and got Atzmos Yosef. You started the job, but you didn't finish it. Poor Moshe Rabbeinu didn't finish it because he died in the desert. So, what do you want from the man? Okay, at the end of the day, you didn't finish the job. And if you don't finish the job, you don't get credit for it. He goes on. V'amar Shlomo HaMelech alav shalom chazisa ish mahir b'malachto lefi melachim yisyatzav bal yetzev v'nei chashukim v'cham om zichron levracha yichasu la'ashevach hazeh al shamir b'meleches binyan habayis lo nis'atza ba la'acher oso. Shlomo HaMelech is praised. Shlomo HaMelech is praised. Why? Because not only did he build the Beis HaMikdash, but when he started the project, he didn't delay. If you start something, finish it up. V'chein darshuhu al Moshe alav shalom al shamir b'meleches hamishkan. And Moshe Rabbeinu was also praised. Why? Because not only did he build the Mishkan, but he got the job done quickly. Rabbi said this is an incredible yesod, because what the Ramchal is ultimately teaching us is that the midah of zrizos, we all know about the midah of zrizos, doing things quickly, alacrity, zeal. I think it's a nice midah. The Ramchal says it's not just that it's a nice midah, it's an indispensable necessity for successful living. Because if you don't get things done quickly after starting them, chances are they don't get done. That's just a function of the nature of life. The midah of zrizos, and this is actional zrizos, tells me start something, finish it up. Why? Because that dramatically increases the probability of life success. And we'll stop over here. We'll pick up a Mir Hashem paragraph Gimel tomorrow. Shkoyach. All right, Jabosai, good morning. A lot to do today. These dapim are mamish. Good, but tomorrow already it changes a little bit. It gets a little bit smaller. But good, keeps us on our toes. I'm sorry? Holiday weekend coming in. Meretz Hashem. Good. Jabosai, today's daf is daf Zayin. We are picking up on Vav Amud Beis. And we are picking up at the two dots, v'hasoch b'shemen hamishcha. One who goes ahead and literally anoints himself or smears on himself shemen hamishcha anointing oil. Our shiurim this month are dedicated by Yonah and Shoshi Ehrenfeld in memory of Yonah's grandfather, Joseph Ehrenfeld, Yosef ben Shmuel Zichron Livracha. We hope that in the merit of our Talmud Torah, the Neshama will have an aliyah and the family in Nechama. And I will say with that, let's begin. V'hasach b'shemen hamishcha. Tan Rabbanon. Hasach b'shemen hamishcha lebehema v'kelim pater. Interesting case. If somebody rubs shemen hamishcha on an animal or on utensils, he is pater. On a Gentile or on a corpse, he is pater as well. Bishlama behema v'kelim dichsev abasra adam lo yisach. Ubehema v'kelim lav adam. So by an animal and by utensils, I understand, because the pasuk says what? Adam. On a person, you're not supposed to smear the oil, and obviously a behema and kelim are not a person. The Gemara says, "Meisim nami pater decheva nemisu meis mikri v'lav adam." A corpse. I also understand why, because once a person is dead, he's called a corpse, and he's not called an adam. But why would I be pater for smearing Shemen HaMishcha on an akum? Is that not a misuse of Shemen HaMishcha on an adam? So the Gemara says, "Ha'adam ninu." So loi dichsiv va'aten soni son marisi adam atem. So we'll say the Gemara quotes the pasuk. Quotes the pasuk from Yechezkel. Kodesh Baruch Hu says to Klal Yisrael, "You are my tzon, you are my sheep, the sheep of my pasture. You are Adam. Atem kruyin Adam, vein ovdin kochavim kruyin Adam." So we darshan from here that a Jew is called Adam, an akum is not called an Adam. Now, both say, what does that mean? That an akum is not a human being? No, what it means is that we see from this pasuk that Adam doesn't just mean a human being. That Adam refers to a Jew. We thought Adam is just a generic term that just means all humanity. We see from here that Adam dafka refers to a Jew. But 1 second, that's not true. V'haksiv v'nefesh Adam shisha asar elef. Both say this is by the spoils of Midyan. So by the spoils of Midyan, it speaks about the fact that they took captive 16,000 people. And you see when referring to the prisoners of Midyan, it refers to them as Adam. That's because it's to exclude behemoths. In other words, the Torah is making two different tallies of animals that they were able to capture, and people. So in order to differentiate between human beings and animals, the Torah used the word Adam. But under different circumstances, Adam dafka refers to Jews and not to non-Jews. To which the Gemara is Riba Adam. What's what about the end of Sefer Yonah? End of Sefer Yonah, where Kadosh Baruch Hu justifies forgiving Nineveh, because he says to Yonah, look at all of the people who live in the city. And he uses the word Adam. So la'afuke behema, to which the Gemara says, once again, Adam there is used to exclude behema. So we'll say, so therefore again, first possibility as to why an akum is not subject to the prohibition of being smeared with Shemen HaMishcha is because the Torah only prohibits Adam and akum is excluded from Adam. Fine. Second possibility, so what's the other possibility is, whoever is subject to the prohibition of anointing himself is also subject to the prohibition of being anointed. I'm using the word anointed, but it's not really anointed, it's really smeared. Right? So in other words, whoever is bound by the prohibition to smear Shemen HaMishcha on himself, ultimately again is prohibited to have the Shemen HaMishcha smeared on him. An akum obviously doesn't have a prohibition of smearing Shemen HaMishcha on himself because that's part of the Torah. An akum is not subject. So because he's not subject to the halacha, he's also not subject to being smeared on. Tanya idach, another braysa. Hasach b'shem HaMishcha lebehema v'keilu of dikcham mesim pater. But let's say another braysa. This braysa says one who smears Shemen HaMishcha on an animal, utensils of the kochavim, the corpse, is pater. L'melachim l'kohanim. What about if you smear Shemen HaMishcha on kings and on kohanim? Now both sides. Now what does that mean? Rashi points out over here la'achar shnim shechu. This is talking about a case where what? The particular Kohen or the particular Melech was already anointed. What happens if you smear Shemen HaMishcha on a Kohen or on a Melech who was already anointed? Is there a prohibition under those circumstances or not? Rabbi Meir mechayiv. Rabbi Meir says you are chayiv. Rabbi Huda poter. Rabbi Huda says you are poter. V'kama yisuch v'hechayiv. And how much do you have to smear of Shemen HaMishcha in order to be chayiv? Rabbi Meir Omer kosher. Rabbi Meir says any amount. Rabbi Huda Omer kizayis. Rabbi Huda says the kizayis. Vam Rabbi Huda poter. But 1 second. Rabbi Huda just said that you're poter. Ki poter Rabbi Huda legabi malachim v'kohanim. When Rabbi Huda said that you're poter, he means that if you re-shmear a Kohen or a king who has already been anointed, you're pater for that use of Shemen HaMishcha. But ultimately, again, gabe hedyot mechayiv. But ultimately, again, by a regular person, you would be chayiv for that use of Shemen HaMishcha. And then Rabbi Huda says, how much would you be chayiv? How much Shemen HaMishcha would you have to use in order to be chayiv? A kizayis. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, but my pligi. So we'll say, what are Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda arguing about? I'm going to say Pahal pligi. Rabbi Meir savar abasar adam lo yisach. The pasuk says that when it comes to Shemen HaMishcha, you may not smear it on the flesh of a person. V'ksev v'asher yitain mimenu al zar. And the pasuk says, if you place it on the flesh of a zar, so the Gemara says, masicha kol shehu, just like anointing, I will say that lashon is any amount. After the sina kol shehu, so to the lashon of yitain also means the use of any amount of Shemen HaMishcha. Rabbi Yehuda savar yalfino nesina da'al zar min nesina da'alma. Rabbi Yehuda says we learn out this nesina, which refers to the placement of Shemen HaMishcha on the flesh of a zar, from the use of nesina in other contexts. Ma nesina, specifically the Gemara is talking about over here, v'ish ki yochal kodesh b'shkaga, v'yosef chamishi su'alav v'nasan lakoines hakodesh. So I will say specifically this is referring to if a person illegally consumes some of the matnos kuhuna. So what the halach is over there? Manasina da'alma kizayis, just like over there we'll say that lashon of nesina, which is by consumption, refers to a kizayis. Af nesina da'al zar kizayis, so to the nesina of Shemen HaMishcha also refers to kizayis. Aval sicha lemimshach melachim kohanim. But also when it comes to the use of anointing oil for kohanim and melachim, divrei kol kolshu. Everyone agrees any amount of Shemen HaMishcha is sufficient. From Rav Yosef, b'may pligi Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, gabi melachim kohanim. And Rabbi Yosef says as follows, that ultimately, again, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, what are they arguing about when it comes to Kohanim Melachim? Rabbi Meir savar v'asher yitzabos, remember again. So machlokis number one is about, everyone will agree that the use of Shemen HaMishcha on a non-kohen, on a zar, right, or on a non-melech, is illegal. Machlokis number one is how much of Shemen HaMishcha do you have to use in order to be chayiv? So, Machlokis, one opinion says kol shehu, one opinion says a kizayis. That's machlokis number one. Machlokis number two is what happens if you put Shemen HaMishcha on a kohen gadol or on a melech who has already been anointed. Right? So machlokis, one opinion says that you're chayiv for that, one opinion says you're pater. So the Gemara says, what's at the root of that machlokis? See, here we go. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Meir sabar v'asher yitimenu al zar uksiv umelech ukohen hashta zarim ninhu. So I'll say ultimately again, Rabbi Meir will say like this. The pasuk says that you are chayiv for illegal use of Shemen HaMishcha if you put it on a zar. Well, guess what? After the kohen and the melech have been anointed, they effectively become like what? They become like a zar. They become like a zar. In other words, once they've been anointed, they really don't have any further shaychas with the Shemen HaMishcha, and therefore they are like a zar. Therefore you be chayiv. Rabbi Yehuda said, Rabbi Inan ad di'ika zar mitchilasa va'ad sofo. Rabbi Yehuda on the other hand says you're only considered a zar if what? If you're a zar from beginning to end. Because a melech and a kohen were not a zar at the beginning, therefore, again, even though they've been anointed, and obviously we're not encouraging the use of the Shemen HaMishcha a second time, but nevertheless, you will not be chayiv for that. So the Gemara says, Zar mitzchil v'atsofu, melech hakohen meikar lav zarimu. And a king and a kohen, ultimately, again, from the beginning, they are not zarim. So Amar of Ika, Bered Rav Ami v'Azlo Tamayu, they both, according to their reasoning, the Sanya, top of Zayin, Bas Kohen Sheni says li Yisrael va'achla b'truma. So let's listen to this. If a Bas Kohen marries a Yisrael and then she eats truma, they both remember again illegal, right? A Bas Kohen who marries a Yisrael loses the right to consume truma. So what happens if she does? What's talacha? Mishtalemes as a karen ve'ino mishtalemes as a chomesh. This is actually very interesting. She only has to pay the principal, but she does not have to pay the penalty fifth. Very interesting. Furthermore, again, umisasa b'sreifa. And if she is put to death, she's put to death b'sreifa. I will say which is what? Which is the unique misa reserved for a bas kohen. Look at Rashi for just a moment. Rashi on the right side. So the Gemara says, why doesn't she pay the fifth? The lav zarahi shaylonis chalala shim yamos by levitinasi lekoin ocheles oim ein zera ein la hadra letruma. So we'll say it's actually very interesting because what's the halacha with this lady? So remember, if her husband dies, if she gets divorced, or she has no children, what happens? She goes back to her father's home and she is permitted to eat truma. So what do you see from here? You see from here that people don't lose their original status. They don't lose their original status. So the Gemara says, however, Niseis le'echa min hapsulin. What happens if she marries someone who she's not allowed to marry? She marries a mamzer. Right? I don't mean that like in a descriptive term. I mean that like in a halachic term. Right? She marries a mamzer. So what happens? Niseis le'echa min hapsulin mishalemes karen mechomer. So we'll say now, interestingly enough, once she marries a mamzer, what's the halacha? Even if her husband dies and leaves her without children, she cannot eat truma again. In that case, mishalemes karen mechomesh. If she consumes truma, she'll pay the principal and the additional fifth. Umisasa bechenek. And if she's executed for something, she'll receive an execution like a regular woman. Dear Rabbi Meir. So we'll say, you see something very interesting, which is that according to Rabbi Meir, ultimately, again, he looks at really focusing on this second case. In other words, once you lose your status, you lose your status. And therefore, again, I will say, what this is really being compared to is what? Is the same way, just like a bas kohen, if she marries someone who's pasul, she loses her status as a bas kohen and moves forward. So Rabbi Meir will say, once a kohen or a king were anointed, they're done. Right? The anointing parsha is over. And therefore, if you were to go ahead and anoint them again, they're no different than a zar. So the Gemara goes weiter. The Chum say, so ultimately the Chum say, in all of these cases, no matter who the bas kohen marries, whether it's someone who's kosher, someone who's pasul, if she eats truma, she only pays the principal, does not pay the chomesh, and furthermore, again, her death penalty is always bisreifa. Amar Rav Yosef, machlokes benesinas shemen hamishcha ubeshinuye dishaninon. Aval nesina da'alma divrei hakol kizayis. So we'll say, so the Gemara says, Rav Yosef says that ultimately, again, the machlokes between Meir and Rabbi Huda are as stated before, but everyone agrees, he posits that everyone agrees that when it comes to illegal use of shemen hamishcha on a zar, ultimately what? Everyone agrees that is in the amount of a kizayis. Good. So Gufa, we'll say let's analyze this. Gufa, Tani Tana Kame Rabbi Elazar. Koshi Yeshno B'Sach, so we'll say going back a little bit. So remember the Gemara posited that one of the reasons that an akum is not chayiv, if you're not chayiv for smearing an akum with shemen hamishcha, is because anyone who's not subject to the prohibition of smearing themselves with shemen hamishcha is not chayiv if they are smeared with shemen hamishcha. So the Gemara says, "Kol sheyeshno b'sach yeshno ba'yisach, v'kol she'eno b'sach eno ba'yisach." Right? So Amrlei Shapir Ka'amrit. So he said that is a good drasha, meaning whoever is chayiv ultimately again in anointing is chayiv if they are smeared, and whoever is not chayiv for smearing themselves is not chayiv if they are smeared. So Amrlei Shapir Ka'amrit, good drasha. Lo yisach ksiv v'kari lo yasich. So ultimately, again, I will say those different lashonos, right? Yisach and yasich could be read as, interpreted as rubbing oil on oneself versus rubbing oil on someone else. Tani Rav Chananya Kamed Rava. Minayin lekoin gadol shenatol mishaman hamishcha sha'arosho v'nasan abnei me'av minayin shu chayer. What's an interesting case? How do I know that the kohen gadol who went ahead and took shaman hamishcha from his head and then he rubbed it on his stomach? Figured, you know what, the shaman hamishcha is nice. It's already on my head. Why should it go to waste? Yeah, he rubs it into his skin. How do I know that he's chayer for that? Shneimar al basra adam lo yisach. But Pasuk says, you shall not go ahead and rub it into your flesh. Okay, Amrli Ravacha Brei Ravashi. Mashnami had the sign. We'll say, why is this different than the following case? The sign, if a Kohen rubbed himself with oil of truma, ben bito yisam is agel alav, literally again his grandson could roll around on him, veino choshesh, and he don't have to be choshesh. In other words, what does this mean? So let's say a Kohen, right? Zayd the Kohen rubbed truma. We'll say, to give you a very simple example of this, right? Goes ahead and puts oil of truma on his hands. Totally permitted, right? Then what happens? He has a grandson. Now his daughter married out, right? His daughter married a Yisrael. So what happens? Now he has a grandson who's a Yisrael. So what happens? He wants to pick up his grandson. What's going to happen when he picks up his grandson? The oil is going to get all over his grandson, right? And the grandson who's a Yisrael is going to benefit from truma oil, yet that is permitted. So I will say, so why? So you understand what's happening? If a kohen takes shemen hamishcha from his head and rubs it on his stomach, he's chayiv for that. But yet by shemen shel truma, if he takes the shemen shel truma on his hands and he rubs his grandson's face, and some of the oil gets on the grandson's face, that's okay. Why the difference? So the Gemara says, Amar le hasam umei ki chaluksiv, kevan dechalale ha-ischil. Aval gabi shemen hamishcha ksiv, Ki nezer elokav alav shemen mishcha kari rachmana daf agav the isi alav lo ischa. I'll say fundamental difference. Truma, once a coin utilizes it in a normative fashion, it's no longer truma. It's just regular stuff. In other words, once the coin uses that oil, it no longer has a status of truma. Shemen hamishcha, even after it's been applied to the coin or to the king, still has the status of Shemen HaMishcha. That's the fundamental difference. So Shemen HaMishcha, even after it's been anointed, it's still Shemen HaMishcha, therefore the coin can't take it from his head and rub it on his stomach. Truma, on the other hand, once the coin uses it in a normative fashion, it's no longer called Truma. It's just called what? Just called oil. Just called oil, and therefore ultimately again, even if he rubs it on his grandson, it's totally fine. Beautiful. Alilu chayav azdono. Katani chutz miutame kodesh v'kadash. So let's remember again the way the Mishnah ended off. The way the Mishnah ended off is the Mishnah gave a list and said as follows: Al elu chayav azdono kares val shirgas chatas. And all the items listed in the Mishnah, for intentional violation you're chayav kares, and for accidental violation of chatas. V'alo hodash alahem asham talui. And I will say again, any situation where you're not sure what you did, you bring in asham talui. Chutz min hametame mikdash ve'kadashav. Except if someone goes ahead and is metame the Beis HaMikdash or consecrated items, because in that case he brings an ola v'yored. So the Gemara says, "Katani chutz mutami mikdash v'kadashav." So except for one who defiles the mikdash and consecrated items. So mimai mafikle, what exactly are we exempting him from? So halchi katani, this is what it means to say chutz mitami mikdash v'kadashav, with the exception of one who defiles the mikdash, also, which means one who walks into the Beis HaMikdash tamei v'kadashav, or ones who defiles consecrated things. She'ein mevi asham talui, such a person does not bring an asham talui. Rashi says she'ein mevi asham talui, she'ein asham talui ba ela al safek chatas kavua. Because you also remember again, asham talui only comes. Asham talui, we'll discuss this in greater depth, is brought in a situation where you're not sure if you did something prohibited or not. But asham talui is only brought in a situation where, had you known for sure that you had violated, albeit accidentally, you would have brought a chatos, right? So in other words, asham talui is the doubtful sister of chatos. Chatos is, I know that I definitely did something wrong by accident. Asham talui is, I'm not sure, I may have done something. So the Gemara is suggesting over here that when the Mishnah says chutz mitame kadosh v'kadash, it means that if you're not sure if you entered into the Beis HaMikdash in a state of tumah, or if you consume something in a state of tumah, you do not bring in asham talui. Why not? Because even if I accidentally did any of these things, I wouldn't bring a chatos. If I don't bring a chatos, I don't bring in asham talui. V'nisni nami chutz mimisha avra alav Yom Kippur. I will say Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur. Remember, a few days after Chodesh Elul, we're preparing for Yom Kippur. Incredible. But why don't you include over here? Listen to this. Someone, this is an incredible halacha. Also excluded from an asham talui is who? Someone who went through a Yom Kippur. She'ein mevi asham talui. I both say this is a dramatic halacha, that if you have an asham talui situation, Yom Kippur remedies your asham talui situation. In other words, Yom Kippur is mechaper. And if you don't bring your asham talui before Yom Kippur, you do not have to bring it after Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur wipes out the liability. Incredible. Amrei Shlakish, ki katani hecha de isi lechata v'rachmana patre. No. We're only talking about cases where there was a chatas obligation and the Torah exempts you from chatas. Avra lav Yom Kippurim leisei lechata the chakapar, but ultimately again by the chait, by this case of somebody who had a doubtful liability and Yom Kippur came along, there Yom Kippur wipes out the entire liability. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Yochanan Amar b'mevait. What are we talking about over here? We're talking about someone who rejects the atonement abilities of Yom Kippur. Mevait literally means kicks. someone who rejects the atonement ability of Yom Kippur. Tika Amar Ein Yom Kippur Mechaper. We'll say, so for such a person like this who says Yom Kippur is not Mechaper, Di Hadr Bey, Basir Mikippurim, Ba'ila Asu Ashatar. We'll say, listen to this dramatic case. So here's what we have so far. If I did something, and I committed an Avera, and I'm not and what happens? I'm not sure, but let me say it differently. I may have committed an Avera. The type of Avera, where had I known for sure that I did it, accidentally, I'd bring a chatos. Now I'm not sure if I did it at all. So what's my liability? Asham talui. So we'll say, if let's say again, I don't bring the Asham talui, if Yom Kippur comes along, Yom Kippur wipes out that liability. Now we assume, when does Yom Kippur wipe out Asham talui liability? If you believe in the atonement power of Yom Kippur. What happens if somebody's a shtickle Yom Kippur apikores? I don't believe in the atonement ability of Yom Kippur. So what happens in that case, I will say? So if a person rejects the atonement ability of Yom Kippur, and then after Yom Kippur they do tshuva, and they once again believe in Yom Kippur, what's the halacha? Ba'ilasuye asham talui. Then you have to bring your asham talui. As I will say, dramatically enough, Yom Kippur only wipes out your asham talui liability when? If you believe in Yom Kippur. If you don't believe in Yom Kippur, it doesn't wipe it out. Reish Lakish holds, Mevait nami mechaper Yom Kippur. I both say, get ready for this. Reish Lakish holds that Yom Kippur is so strong that even if you reject, even if you say, I don't believe in Yom Kippur will still atone for you. Even if you don't love Yom Kippur loves you, says Reish Lakish. Right? You say, I don't care about Yom Kippur, it's not going to do it. No, Yom Kippur still atones. Now, we'll say, now, this is a dramatic machlokis. Get ready for this. Ubeplugta. Here we go. Ha'omer lo yiskar li chatasi. We'll say, so watch this. We're not finished with Yom Kippur. Stam case chatas. Person says, my chatas shouldn't atone for me. So both say, so okay, that's interesting, and then I bring it, right? So it says the Gemara, Abai Amar Ena Mechaper. Abai says, listen, if you say second wide line, Zayin Amud Aleph. If you say that halacha lamaisa, your chata shouldn't atone for you, then guess what? It doesn't atone for you. Rav Amar Mechaper. So Rav says, no, it does atone. So what's going on over here? Heicha da Amar lo tikarev. So we'll say, if a person says, I don't want this chatas offered for me. Person says, don't offer it. And somebody ends up offering it, to kuli amalo pligidolo mechaper. So I'll say under those circumstances, the chatos of course does not atone. Why? Tichsiv yakrivo so lirtzono. Because I will say obviously there's no such thing as a carbon being offered up bal karcho. So if you're not willing to offer up the carbon, even if somebody offers it up on your behalf, right? Halacha l'mais it doesn't atone. Where does the machlokas come up? This is dramatically amazing. Ki pligi, damerti karev velo sechaper. Now, a person says, let my chatas be offered, but I don't want it to atone for me. Right? So we'll say, so by the way, you have to understand, it sounds crazy, right? You're offering it, but you want to atone. But we'll say, you understand, like, this is maisim b'chol yom. People get angry at things, and when people get angry and do things out of anger, we do many, many, many counterintuitive things. Things, right, that you look at and say, that makes absolutely no sense. Right? So we'll say, so again, this guy's, he's brightest for whatever the reason. Fine, offer up the chatos, but it shouldn't be mechaper for me. Says the Gemara, Abai Amar in mechaperes. Abai says, listen, if you say it shouldn't atone for you, it's not going to atone for you. Rava Amar mechaperes. Rava says it does atone for you. Kevan damar tikariv kapara me'las. Essentially, once you signal your willingness to offer it, kind of the rest goes on carbonic autopilot. Once you consent to the offering, ultimately again the kapara comes from that. V'hadr be Rava. Now I will say, interestingly enough, Rava retracted this position. Right? How do we know this? We'll say, get ready for this. Kidisanya. So I'm going to thought Yom Kippur should be mechaper for everyone, whether you did tshuva or you didn't do tshuva. And I can make a good kal v'chomer. What's the kal v'chomer? V'dinu. Chatas v'ashem mechaprim v'yom kippur mechaper. Chatas and Hashem provide atonement. Yom Kippur provides atonement. Chatas v'ashem in mechaprin ela ala shavin. Just like chatas and asha will say, only provide atonement if what? If a person does tshuva. So af Yom Kippur in mechaper ela ala shavin. So to Yom Kippur should only atone for those who do tshuva. To which the Gemara says, lo. I'll tell you why the comparison is not good. Why not? Because chatas and asham are only mechaper for what Rabbi say, are only mechaper for shogeg. Right? Remember again, we don't bring a chatas and an asham for mezid. If you do something intentionally, there's no carbonic kapara under those circumstances. Tarm b'yom kippurim shemechaper ala mezid kishogeg. Yet Rabbi say, Yom Kippur can accomplish what any chatas and asham cannot. Because chatas and asham can be mechaper for shogeg. Yom Kippur could even be mechaper for mezid, right? Hoyov mechaper ala mezid kishogeg, mechaper ala shavin v'sha'al shein shavin. So if Yom Kippur can be mechaper for a mezid just like a shogeg, so ultimately again a Yom Kippur should be mechaper even for people who don't do tshuva. Talmud lomar ach. Therefore, the pasuk by Yom Kippur says ach, and what does ach teach me? Chilek. Ach teaches me that Yom Kippur creates kapara ultimately for some, but not for all. Who does it create kapara for? For those who do tshuva, but not for those who do not. My shavin v'sheinan shavin. I will say, what does it mean? People who do tshuva don't do tshuva. Get ready for this. Ilema shavin shogeg lo shavin mezid. If you want to say those who do tshuva means those who did it b'shogeg. Those who didn't do tshuva means mezid. Hakatani im amrit bechatas va'asham. That can't be because chatas and asham aren't mechaper for mezid. Ella ki hadu ula am Rabbi Yochanan. Achol chela v'hifrish karban. Well, so listen to this interesting case. If a person ate chela, a person ate forbidden fat, and then they were mafresh a karban. Okay, I did something wrong. I separated out a karban. V'hemir daito. Then I became an apikoris. V'chazerbo. Then I did shuva. It's a busy day, right? Then I did shuva, right? So we'll say now. Interestingly enough, now what happened over here? I became an apikoris after I separated the karban, but before I offered it up. So what's the halacha in that case? Rabbi say you cannot offer up the carbon of an apikoris, and therefore again that carbon is essentially unusable. Since it was the carbon of an apikoris, even now Baruch Hashem I did tshuva and I'm no longer an apikoris. Once the carbon is set aside for non-use, it is no longer usable. So the Gemara says Nihi de'etchi carbon. While it is true that a carbon ultimately is set aside, I was listen to these words. Gavra bar kaparahu, right? They both say only carbonos are forever set aside for non-use. Gavra, a person is never nitcha. Right? So hear this: a person is never nitcha. Right? The person you can become the biggest apikoris in the world. If you choose to do tshuva, there's no such thing as hoil v'nitcha yidcha. Only karbanos. So the Gemara says, Ella, so what does shavin mean? Ella shavin, damar yechaper alay chatasi, she'in shavin, da'amar lo sechaper alay chatasi. So we'll say, rather what? You have to say that what? That shavin means, a person says, my carbon should be mechaper for me, and she'in shavin means that a person says, my carbon should not be mechaper for me. To which the Gemara says, Shema Mina. So we'll say, the point over here is, you see from here, that Allah Chalamaisa, that Rava changed his position. Rava originally said that when it comes to a chatos, if a person just says offer it up, even if he says it shouldn't be mechaper, Rava says it's mechaper. From this exchange, you see that is incorrect. And even Rava retracted that and said halacha lemaisa. If a person says my carbon shouldn't be mechaper, then what? It's not mechaper. In order for the chatos to be mechaper, a person has to not only be not willing to offer it, but a person has to want the kapara properties. If you don't want the kapara properties, the carbon does not work. So we'll say, here we go. Now a little bit about Yom Kippur. Or minhi. Yachalo yeh Yom Kippur mechaper al ela al shenis anebo. I'm sorry. Let me read that again. Yachalo yeh Yom Kippur mechaper the amr ela al shenis anebo for the asaba malacha vikara mikra kodesh. We'll say, I might have thought that Yom Kippur is only mechaper if what? If you fasted, didn't do malacha, and sanctified it appropriately. In other words, I would have thought that Yom Kippur only atones if you observed Yom Kippur appropriately. Get ready for this. Lo nis'anebo, v'asa bo malacha, v'lo kara mikra kodesh, yachol lo yehei Yom Kippurim mechaper, Talmud lomar, Yom Kippurim hu mikol makom. Wow. How do I know that even if I ate on Yom Kippur, did malacha on Yom Kippur, treated it like a regular Tuesday, that it still goes ahead and is mechaper for me? Pasuk says, Yom Kippurim hu. It's Yom Kippur, right? What's that? Do you hear this? Do you hear this? Absolutely wild. I'm eating on Yom Kippur, I'm doing malach. Now, by the way, it's mechaper, I'm chayiv misa, but it is mechaper, right? I'm chayiv misa, I'm chayiv kares, right? So it's not good. But nevertheless, again, we'll discuss what this means, that Yom Kippur is so powerful that even if I'm eating on Yom Kippur, doing malacha on Yom Kippur, treating it like the weekdays, Shabbat weekdays, l'maisa it's still mechaper, Yom Kippur hu. V'tarvayu stam sifruhu v'kashna adadim. Now here's the problem. The problem is we now have two contradictory statements, and both of them, I will say, are stam mishnayos. As I will say, we have two conflicting statements about the power of Yom Kippur. Right? The earlier Brisa said Yom Kippur only works if what? If you utilize it properly. This Brisa clearly indicates that Yom Kippur works even if you do not only doing nothing, but what? Mamish actively doing things wrong. So the Gemara says it's a kasha. It's a kasha. It's a fundamental kasha about the identity of Yom Kippur. Amra Bailo kasha. Pais is not a kasha. Ha Rebbe Aliba de Rebbe Huda. Ha Rebbe Aliba de Day. Both say the two brises reflect two different versions of Yom Kippur. One is according to Rebbe, and one is according to Rebbe Huda. This time Rebbe Omer, Kol Aver Shabbat Torah Ben Asa Tshuva Ben Lo Asa Tshuva. Here we go. Both say. Per Rebbe says like this: Any Aver in the Torah, whether you did Tshuva, didn't do Tshuva, Yom Kippur mechaper. Yom Kippur is mechaper for you, with certain exceptions. Chutz mi poreko. They both say poreko refers to someone who literally casts off the yoke of mitzvos. Right? Literally again, I don't observe anything. I'm not bound by anything. You reject the mitzvos. Megale panim b'Torah. So it's actually very interesting. Megale panim b'Torah, Rashi says over here, is doresh ba'agados shel dofi. You make stuff up. You make stuff up about Torah, which also means a person, which also is actually, it sounds a little crazy, but we kind of do this pretty often, where we create our own Torah or halachic narratives to go ahead and justify things that we do. That's megala parim b'Torah. Let's say we all make mistakes. The worst thing in life is when a person justifies their mistakes by creating alternate realities. I'm living on the wrong side of the law. No one's perfect. Okay, except the fact that I'm doing an aveira. But to create new hashkafas, or new ideologies, or new this to justify things that are just incorrect, that's called megala panim b'Torah. So umeifer bris, which by the way is such an incredible yisod. See, HaKadosh Baruch Hu could handle any aveira we do because He created us. He knows we're weak. What He can't tolerate is disingenuousness. Is that a word? Disingenuousness and sheker. That leave me alone. Don't. You want to do something because you want to do something. Fine, do it, but at least recognize that it's not right. To justify something that you know is not correct, but somehow you're creating this whole intellectual framework around it that says that it's okay. Shmuel says that. I can't deal with people who aren't enesdik. Incredible. So the Gemara says, Umeifer bris basar, someone who tries to hide his bris milah, shim asa tshuva, because also in all of these cases, even if a person did tshuva, Yom Kippur mechaper. I'm sorry. Shim asa tshuva, Yom Kippur mechaper, ve'im lav in Yom Kippur mechaper. So we'll say, so in general, Yom Kippur has the ability to be mechaper for any avera. With these big ones, Yom Kippur is only mechaper if you do tshuva. If you don't do tshuva, these are too big for Yom Kippur to mechaper on their own. So Rava says, Hava ha Rabbi, Ali b'din avshei, umod Rabbi ba'averos Yom Kippurim gufei de lo mechaper. So we'll say, so possibility one could be that really Rabbi's the Gemara is referring to two different aspects of Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur in general has the ability to mechaper for all mitzvos, all averos, with the exception of certain big ones, where Yom Kippur by itself cannot be mechaper. Only Yom Kippur together with tshuva is mechaper. That's possibility one. Possibility two is, listen to this. Yom Kippur can be mechaper for anything. Big averos, small averos, you did do tshuva, you didn't do tshuva. So the Brisa says that Yom Kippur is only, when the Gemara says that Yom Kippur ultimately again is not mechaper, what are we talking about over here? Listen to this. Mod Rabbi ba'averos Yom Kippurim gufei de lo mechaper. So also listen to this. When does Rabbi say that Yom Kippur is not mechaper without tshuva? That's if you violated Yom Kippur itself. Yom Kippur can be mechaper for any avera, whether you did tshuva, didn't do tshuva. With one exception, if you violate Yom Kippur itself, Yom Kippur is not mechaper. So for example, I eat on Yom Kippur. Well, I've listened to this great chap. Yom Kippur is mechaper for everything. Fantastic. What time is lunch? right? What time is lunch? Let's sit down, have a little lunch, and it's okay. It's okay. Why? Yom Kippur is mechaper. It's fantastic. So the Gemara says it must be that even Rabbi who holds that Yom Kippur is mechaper for everything must agree that when you violate Yom Kippur itself, that Yom Kippur can be mechaper for Yom Kippur. Right? That's the one exception to the rule. He says, why? This is incredible. Te'ilo teimahachi, karis Yom Kippurim l'Rebbe, kevan de b'chol shaita v'shaita mechaper, heichim mishkachos lo. Because I will say, remember again, if that was true that Yom Kippur can be mechaper for everything, even Yom Kippur itself, then what? There's no such thing as an Isser Karis for eating on Yom Kippur. Why? Because right after you finish eating and you bench, of course, everybody benches after eating on Yom Kippur, right? Then what happens? You go ahead and Yom Kippur is mechaper. Yom Kippur is mechaper afterwards. So obviously, I will say it must be that even Rabbi holds that Yom Kippur is mechaper for everything, must be that violation of Yom Kippur is the exception to Yom Kippur. I will say, but I just want to show you something amazing. Do you see how incredible? Well, let's see. Let's go on. I just want to point out that there's a havamina that Yom Kippur could be mechaper for Yom Kippur, right? I mean, the Gemara is having this discussion. Maybe Yom Kippur is mechaper, including violation of Yom Kippur. Do you see what a gift, how much Cheshach Baruch Hu loves us? Where else do you see a concept like this? Where else do you see a concept like this of such unrestrained forgiveness? Forgiveness that literally we have to speak about. There's a havamina. Maybe Yom Kippur is mechaper for itself. Maybe a Jew who eats on Yom Kippur, the day itself. Who else has HaKadosh Baruch Hu that loves them so much? Who else has a gift like this? Like, where do you even see such a demonstration of divine love? Let's go back to my kusha, or maybe not. What's the question? I'm really in big trouble with this daf. Mamish, very big trouble. Okay, fine. Do my kusha dilma da avidita. So I'll say no. I'll give you the example. Maybe there is a case. Dilma da avidita kule laila ubahade amudi ashachar mis de lo hava yamama de lechaprale. But we'll say maybe the case is like this. I could set up a case of where I worked all night. This is Yom Kippur night. I worked all night. Right? I didn't finish up what I had to finish off at the office. I go into the office after Kol Nidrei. Everybody has to dive in Kol Nidrei. Right? I work the whole night. So we'll say in that case, then what? And that person died in the morning. So we'll say what ends up happening? That Yom Kippur itself never has the ability to atone for such an individual. The Gemara assumes that the atonement power of Yom Kippur comes when? By day. Ki bayom hazeh yichapra aleichem. The Gemara will see this. The Gemara is understanding the yom in quite a literal way. So the Gemara says, Teinach karis telayla, karis tiyimam heichem mishkachosla. We'll say, how can you ever find a daytime example of this? Watch this. So my kushya, Dilma bahadi de ka'achal nama chanak se umsa umis. Maybe the case of Osai is where what? A person is eating on Yom Kippur, and literally again they choke and die. Now, interesting enough, what the Gemara is suggesting over here is that halacha l'maisa, in order for Yom Kippur to be mechaper, what has to happen? There has to be like a few moments of daytime. To be able. So in this case over here, where the person ate, choked, and died, there was never a moment where they weren't eating for Yom Kippur to be mechaper. Or a person was doing malacha on Yom Kippur, right, and they did it right from the end of Yom Kippur into Matzah Yom Kippur. So there was never a point at the end of Yom Kippur where they were that malacha. Inami bahadi da avidita paske marla sake umis the lahavile shust b'imam lechaperle. Our say that possibility is what person was doing farming work. And what happens as they're farming? It's quite a dramatic example. They cut off their leg, die as a result, and therefore, again, there was never a moment where they weren't doing work for the day to be mechaper. So they will say the point the Gemara is making over here is you could see, even if you hold that the day of Yom Kippur itself is so strong that it could ultimately be mechaper, even for violation of Yom Kippur itself. Even that would require some moments of the day post-prohibited act in order to go ahead and violate. It will say, the Rambam paskins, of course, that Yom Kippur is mechaper for what he calls averos kalos, small averos, even without tshuva. Small averos even without tshuva. Small averos usually means things that don't carry with them an onesh of misa. So Yom Kippur wipes out your averos kalos even without any type of tshuva. For averos chamuros, right, which are generally more significant averos of misa kares, then ultimately again Yom Kippur together with tshuva have the ability to go ahead and affect atonement. The Rambam does have a category of more significant averos, where ultimately again you need tshuva, Yom Kippur, Misa, Yisurin for more averos chamuros. But again, I can't tell you enough. The fact that the Gemara discusses these ideas about the power of Yom Kippur being able to wipe out averos in general, even a violation of Yom Kippur, just gives you a window into the profundity of this day. Weiter. Even Megadev. Now, remember again, Megadev is the one who blasphemes, who curses HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the Mishnah said, the Chachamim say that even the Megadef ultimately again is included in this. Now included in what? Let's see. So my Afa Megadef, Rabbanan Shamli Rabbi Akiva Datani Bal'ov Velotani Yedoni. So I'll say, sir, the Rabbanan heard Rabbi Akiva giving his drasha that we saw a couple of days ago, that Dafka an Ov is subject to a Chatas obligation or a Kares obligation, and not Yedoni. Amrulei Maishna Delo Maisi Carbon Mishum Deles Be Maisa. Why is it that the Yedoni doesn't bring a carbon? Ultimately, again, because he has no Maisa. Megadef Nami Les Be Maisa. And the Rabbanan said also the Megadef, the one who curses HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because there is no Maisa, there's just a verbal articulation. Therefore, what? Therefore, Allah Maisa, he doesn't bring a Chatas and is also not subject to curse. Rabbanan Megadef may be carbon. So the Bride says Megadef brings a carbon. Why? Hoyo v'ne'emar bo kares to Rabbi Akiva. Because since it says kares by the Megadef, therefore what? He brings a carbon as well. Omer, David Rabbi Akiva. Omer chato yisa. Uklalu, is that true? That is a general principle. Kol heicha de kasev be kares maisi carbon. Wherever the Torah lists kares, that you have to bring a carbon. V'ha pesach umila dichsiv b'hu kares v'lo maisi carbon. I'm also bringing the example of carbon pesach and mila, where kares is stated, right? If you don't bring a carbon pesach, you don't do bris mila. Kares is stated. Yet what? Failure to perform these things does not generate chatas liability. Amud Beis, hachi kamer. This is what it means to say megadef may be carbon hoil uba bo kares. B'makom carbon de Rabbi Akiva. So megadef brings a carbon. Why? Because since again this is changed to uba to v'ne'emar. Since ultimately again carbonic liability is mentioned by kares, therefore ultimately again he brings a carbon. Kasavar migo debay michtav karis ba'alma, because Rabbi Akiva holds like this. Since ultimately again the karis of Megadef could have been written elsewhere, uksiv karis b'makom carbon, but yet it chooses to state his obligation of karis right by the carbon. Shma mina maisi carbon. Rabbi Akiva learns that the Megadef does bring a carbon. So also according to Rabbi Akiva, accidental Megadef brings a carbon chatos. The Chacham and the Mishnah are arguing. The Chacham and the Mishnah are saying since Megadef does not have a Maisa, therefore what? He does not bring carbon. V'omer chet o yisa. The pasuk says he shall bear his iniquity, he shall bear his chet. Asa, and change that to the Rabbanon. But so that goes according to the Rabbanon, who say that what? V'achi kamar Rabbi Akiva the Rabbanon. And this is what Rabbi Akiva is saying to Rabbanon. Amrisa Megadef les be Maisa. So Rabbi Akiva says Rabbanon, you hold that Megadef doesn't have a Maisa. So Mao Megadef, what is Megadef, by the way? Mevarech es Hashem. It must be one who curses the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ela kares tichsev l'may asa. So ultimately, again, the kares that is mentioned by what is it coming to teach us? Amri ve litain kares l'mekalel. Both say it's actually coming to go ahead and give kares ultimately to what? To the mekalel, to the one who curses the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Dichsev mekalel cheto yisa ishahu uksev pesach sheni cheto yisa ma lahalon kares af kan kares. So it's just like by pesach sheni, the lashon over there is by kares, so too by the mekalel the obligation is kares. Tan Rabbanon es Hashem hu megadef. He is cursing HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name. Isi ben Yehuda Omer, Ka'adam ha'omer lechavero. But say one who curses HaKadosh Baruch Hu is like one who says to his friend, Girafta kara v'chisarta. Not only have you emptied the plate, but you broke the plate. So we'll say one who curses HaKadosh Baruch Hu not only is he bereft of mitzvos, but what? He's mamish broken the plate, right? It's bad enough to clear off the plate, you take all the contents off, but to break it renders it unusable. Kasavar megadef mevarech es Hashem. He understands that megadef ultimately again is one who is cursing HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Azariah Omer, ke'adam omer lechaver girafta kara v'lo chisarta. He says it's like one who says to his friend, you emptied the plate, but you did not diminish the plate. Kasavar megadef hainu ovid avodah zara. Well, said this is actually very interesting. You saw this thing machlokes as to what is megadef. So here's megadef. Rabbi say is one who worships idolatry. Rabbi say, interestingly enough, according to this approach, worshiping idolatry is not as bad as cursing the name of God. Cursing the name of God is committing an avera that goes to the core of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's identity. That's like clearing off the plate and breaking it. Avodah Zarah is bad, of course, but again, ultimately, that's like clearing off the plate, right? The metaphor is the mitzvahs fill the plate, you're clearing off the plate. But what? You're not breaking the plate itself. Tanya idach es Hashem, Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah Omer, ba'ovid avodah zarah kasav medaber. V'cham lo ba kasav elalitin kares lemevarech Hashem. So both say, so the sugya ends off with a fundamental machlokes, ultimately about what? About halacha l'maisa, the definition of the prohibition of megadef, which is really quite interesting. Is megadef cursing HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what we call mevarech es Hashem, it's a euphemistic term, or is megadef ultimately again worshipping avodah zarah? Fine, that sub-machlokes is embedded in the fundamental machlokes of Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbana, namely, halacha l'maisa, is there a carbonic liability for megadef or not? Machlokes Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbana. We'll say just one more minute. Yesh, you know what? Actually, we'll stop over here for today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to record from this Mishnah and Meretz Hashem to the next Mishnah, so that we have a fighting chance for tomorrow's daf. I'll say shkayach. My apologies for not making it the way through, but okay. And Meretz Hashem, we'll get there. So correct. So the difference would be in the verbiage that is employed. Correct. Yeah.
In the time of the Beis Hamikdash, where you had the Yisar Mishtaleach, that would just be for Tumas
Correct.
It wasn't for all the others.
So there's a machlokes, I think, by that also. There's a machlokes in Yuma as to what Yisar Mishtaleach takes care of. All the others. 100%.
Today we don't have it.
Yeah. But that's why the Rambam writes in the beginning of Parak Hilchos Tshuva, after he discusses Sir Mishtaleach, he says, but don't despair, because the greatest thing is Tshuva. Tshuva is more powerful than everything, even the Sir Mishtaleach. Yeah. And especially if you go with Yesod, it's like the Gemara here identifies with the Rabbi, that Yom Kippur is mechaper for everything, then it is more powerful even than the Sir Mishtaleach. Incredible. Sorry?
You still need the tshuva.
Still need tshuva.
How many mitzvahs kalas are there?
Still need tshuva. But the fact that there's a concept. Incredible.
I see a few drushes in it.
Plenty of drushes in it. I see a Shabbos Shuvah drush in it. Part 3.
Are we going to charter a bus this time?
I believe so. Either that or a stretch limousine.
How come when the cycle ends on the 4th of January, we do it?
I think what they're doing is like this. I think because it's a legal holiday, I think because it's the winter. So if you have it at night,